Happy Hump Day, Wednesday. I will remind you all of the commercial. It's a Geico commercial with a camel walking around the office going, Hump Day. Also, fun fact, I am not permitted by law to use the word Geico in any public writings for the remainder of my life. We'll do a story on that one sometime. As we look to the day ahead and get past that commercial, which is a great commercial, we've got a hot market today. We've had a really fun couple weeks. We've had some action. We've had plenty of trades on the show. We've had the levels. We've had the setups. We've had the ideas, the chat. You all have been very active. We've been getting your levels out of the chat. We've been getting the assets that you're trading. So as we look ahead to today, I'll give you a little bit of a preview. One, we will have some giveaways today if the chat behaves. And if we get some fun, we get some audience, we get some action. But before that, we're going to take a look at ES and NQ. I'm going to bring on our good friends, Ms. Bulbari, Mr. Forrest Knight, and they're going to take us through their opinions on ES and NQ. So we'll start there. Next, we will go to the most interesting chart of the day. Every day we bring you the most interesting chart of the day. It's an asset that you are not thinking about. We'll tell you why it's interesting, what makes it interesting, and give you something else to another arrow for your quiver. We'll then move into education. We will cover the open. And we've got a very special guest, Mr. Rake Trades, joining us at 10 a.m. Eastern. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you to this Hump Day edition of My Funded TV, and welcome Ms. Bulbari and Mr. Forrest Knight on with us.
Good morning.
Yo.
What's up?
Hump Day.
How's it going, y'all?
We're feeling spastastic today, Forrest.
That's the best way to feel, Luke.
Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Barbie, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Should we start with ES or NQ today?
I think I went first yesterday.
All right.
It doesn't matter to me.
ES. It's ES.
Okay.
It's a good place to
Yes,
start.
friends.
Tried and true. The bigger asset. And I'll throw this one out to the chat. A question for the chat early. If you trade ES more than you trade NQ, put an ES in the chat. If you trade NQ more than you trade ES, put an NQ in the chat. We've asked this one before, I know. But I want to get a sense of where everyone's at. And Barbie, let's take a look at your chart.
All right. Well, I'm started on the daily, and I marked these zones up a little bit prettier that I'd kind of mentioned yesterday that I just, on a macro scale, I see this consolidation area where we had hit the all-time highs as kind of the resistance overhead. And then below we have this other kind of consolidation zone where it's the area we had dropped down from and then reclaimed. And we're still in the middle of that. And we're still in kind of a news lull here, I guess is a way to put it. So today there was nothing. They added Trump speaking at 1. So I'm being aware of that. The other thing, this is another economic calendar that I look at. I just wanted to point out that because we had talked about bonds yesterday, that there is the 20-year bond auction, and then crude is today. And there's been crude news overnight. So if you're interested in bonds or crude, there's a little bit, these can move the indexes very slightly, but I think Trump is probably the bigger one for the indexes. So back to the chart. I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at for today. Oh, that's the wrong chart. Okay, so yesterday I had told you, well, I'd gone over to the TPO chart yesterday because we were looking at, it's really kind of a retracement of this candle, but on the TPO chart, we had the single print down there that I was looking at right around the 59.20, and we did get that filled. It didn't get it completed during the RTH, but it did complete it in the pre-market. So sometimes when I see these big open things, and I think this is kind of where like the fair value gap idea comes from, is from Market Profile originally. But when we see these things, I kind of look at it as that's a mission that the market wants to complete. And now that mission is completed, so I can kind of move on to the next thing. And that's where we are now. So obviously, you know, we had been just watching this uptrend, and obviously the last day was down. We had a bearish day yesterday, so I was trying to kind of think of what the different scenarios are today. I'll start with the bull scenario, although we are in a downtrend. So this is kind of like my least favorite at the moment. But this area right here, I was really looking for to be support, the 59.20 area, basically. 59.17 to 25 is how I have it marked. But basically 59.20, I was looking for buyers to be supporting this area. And they did pre-market. It was bought up first. But this is going to be kind of the first test of the market at open here, is to see what happens in this zone. If it's bought back up, the first area I'm going to be looking for is 59.40, because that's the magnet level that we've had all week. And I think this can kind of become a zone up into the 50s, so it may not be 40 exactly. We've already traded this level a bit, so it's not going to be precise. So if we kind of get some momentum up into 59.40, into 59.50, the other level that I'm looking for up here is the pre-market high, and that's 59.58.25. If we really do start bidding up here and having the buyers show up, this is where I think we're going to have a lot of resistance up here, really in the 59.80. That's this more purple level that I had marked up here. That's just, I mean, if you look at the charts, if you were going to take profit, that's just a really obvious spot to take profit, right? So on the flip side of that, if for some reason the market does get excited and starts trading above this is also where a lot of stops are going to be. So it's liquidity. And so if the market is able to travel up here, this is where a short squeeze would potentially trigger. But again, since we don't have any of the big catalysts today, that's not my favorite plan. If we get stuck, it's going to be the kind of nothing, like barcode sideways day. I'm going to be watching the 20 level and the 40 level, probably the hardest for areas where the price could just kind of get stuck. Because if you look back on the chart where we had this big impulse move on Monday, that would just have us all inside of there. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But if price wants to keep exploring lower, we've got some levels down here too. And it's really my line in the sand is kind of the 59.40. So we're already below that, and we're opening kind of, it looks like we're going to be opening closer to the 59.20 level. So that was,
Barbie, you're saying 59.40 is basically your line in the sand of where you'll look to the upside and where you'll look to the bear side. Is that right?
Right. And so also, like, losing the 59.40, the first target would have been here, and that's where we are. So that's what I'm going to be interested to see. Is the regular trading hour session going to be buying this up and bringing us back over it, or is it going to be dropping us back below it? The obvious target down here is 5,900. And then we have these lows from Monday around 59.92. So this is the really obvious next target. I'm expecting a lot of buyers to be down here around the 58.80s. When you look at this, I was looking at in a few different ways. There's a volume profile node here. That's where the kind of if I go to the TPO chart, that's where the bottom of this level is too. So that's kind of where price ended. And there's efficient trading below here. So I'm expecting there to be some support in this area. If it fails through here, that could kind of get more ugly. I'm expecting buyers here.
What's the level? Where does it start and end?
Because this is an older area, I don't think it's going to be precise. So it's 59.80. But I have I marked this volume profile a little bit ago, and it's at 58.77, and then the 58.85 I had pulled off of a wick, I think. I don't remember. But so it's basically like a few points on either side of 58.80.
Awesome.
So
right,
that's
so
kind of
the
59.40 today.
59.20, 58.80. Those are the three.
Those are the big ones, yeah. But I'm also making a note, if we do start trading higher, we've got the overnight high at 59.58.25. We also have this overnight low. It's where was that one at? Oh, there. I just need to zoom this way. It'll give it to me. 59.05. I didn't mark it because it's right there, kind of at the 5,900. So it's just kind of in my brain. But that is something to kind of take note of. Is the market could really try to retest that overnight low here at open too.
All right, and I see a question, Barbie, from Luke Jacoby in the chat asking, what is a TPO chart?
So that's time price opportunity. And I was a little bit nervous bringing this out for the first time because I haven't prepared a lesson, but I'm going to prepare a lesson for you guys. It's just, if you study, this comes from Market Profile. And I have this one expanded out right now, but it's just a different way of looking at where price has spent a lot of time. So we do have points of control on here. That's these white areas. So it's in some ways it's similar to volume profile, but when you split it out this way, you're looking at where you can watch things over the different sessions too. So I actually prefer this on a different platform. TradingView makes it look really pretty, but you can color these for the different sessions. And if you zoom in tight enough, it should show some little letters and things. There they are. So these letters show the different sessions. We've got the A session and the B session and the C session. So those are the different time periods. I have mine set to 30 minutes. These are all going to be 30-minute periods. And so this way I can kind of, it's just a different way of visualizing the charts. But what stands out is where we had some inefficient trading when you look at the price chart this way. And so that's why we can kind of come up with this target. And it will be similar to if you're looking at volume profile, this will probably be a low volume node, but there'll probably be a high volume node underneath it down here where we have this other group of trades. So it's just another way of visualizing. I always talk about how you have to find the stuff that works the best for you and that you connect with the best. And this isn't one of my favorite charts, but I do like doing analysis on it. I'll take a peek at it because if we've got a big, they call these single prints. So when you have where you only traded that price over once and you only get one print, that's a single print, and price does like to revisit these areas. We'll do a bigger lesson on that when I get a chance.
All right, when you get a chance.
I like how somebody called, was that they're calling their rainbow road? It does look like a rainbow road, especially when you have it split out like this. It's
visually stimulating.
we have to be stimulating in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. I just look at this all day. Sounds great. All right.
Interesting question. Someone asked, Neek, good morning, first of all, welcome to the party. Asks, is the market risk on or risk off? Can you explain what you mean by that? I feel like my answer is no. Because I don't know what you mean, to be honest. But yeah, follow up in the chat with that. Sorry, I cut you guys off.
All right, Meek. Explain what you mean. I think what he's trying to ask is more capital being deployed into the market, which would ultimately drive price higher, or people pulling capital?
There's no reason to speculate on things like that. Like if I actually wanted to track like daily volume or like cash inflows, like the net deltas of cash invested into the market today versus like last month and a month ago, like I could. Is it relevant for me as a speculator? No. Like I mean, I don't think it maybe if you're trying to determine like how has like major sentiment change and like demand and you're playing the trend, yeah, but I don't think it would really affect anything in how I trade, to be honest. So
well, Forrest, speaking of how you do trade, I'd love to take a look at NQ. Barbie just gave us the levels that she's watching on ES. I'd like to see NQ from you. I also want to invite Terry onto the stream. She has the coolest hair of the four of us, especially today. And she also takes a deep look at NQ regularly. So I'd like to welcome Terry in, and Forrest, talk us through it.
Cool. So I'm going to start by answering a question as I do this. Someone asked, how do I know which volume profile is more important? Higher time frames is always better. So this is the daily, it's 24-hour. Yesterday, I marked this daily shelf at 21,299. I called it 21,300, right? And I said that was going to be our downside target on the day. And that's just based off of, let's just get rid of all these other lines, actually. Let's have one red line. Okay. I'm on bar replay, by the way, right? So this was the Sunday candle. We have this kind of shelf that's formed down here, right? And that's just based off of the outline of this auction. Okay, literally it's just the edge of the auction. That's all it is. So as we go forward, let's just go to the 1 hour. We'll exit bar replay. Right, we can see how that played out yesterday. So yesterday it was a grind down, very grindy, as I mentioned. We stayed below the POC, right, which was also VWAP, I'm sure. But we grinded down, kissed this level basically to the penny, right? And that's where we bounced at the end of the day. We had a D-shaped volume profile on the session. So to answer your question, we bounced off of a macro shelf, right, on a higher time frame, basically to the penny, right? And then we mean reverted because we had a D-shaped volume profile. D-shaped volume profile, normal distribution. It's going to range back in. I know a ton of people were looking for like a breakdown end of day yesterday because I run a community and I unfortunately can see people who, you know, make the same mistakes. The odds of that happening, right, with a D-shaped volume profile are extremely low, right? Because all of the volume, all of the magnet in the session is right here. If it was more skewed and stretched out with imbalances, possibly, but this was like a classic gamma setup. So I actually went long and I bought calls once we bounced on this. So I really want you guys to, I mean, selfishly and not selfishly, really pay attention to where the edges of these shelves are, right? I'm like 2 for 2 on like calling levels to the penny, just based off of daily levels, right? Intraday trades, day trades based off of daily levels, right? They're not always going to hit like that to the penny or even be available every day, especially if we get more choppy. But when they're there, they're very obvious. Today, let's talk about today. Today. Let's get out of bar replay. Oh, my chart's lagging. It's blowing up. I need both charts first and foremost. We are pushing lower. We put in a relatively higher bottom wick here. We're coming down. I think we're coming for this prior day low, basically, right? So if I put my levels back that I removed, there was this open low here. We've rejected. We grinded down, stayed under the POC, VWAP. We still have a downtrend, right, on the hourly. We're probably going to push down and get this prior day low. If we don't get this prior day low, this will literally be like the low of the day right here. Like it has to be. It doesn't make sense for us to push lower and not sweep this low. Like, think about it, guys. It literally wouldn't make sense. So either this thing's about to bounce at like a 60% retest of this wick, and that's it for the day, or it's going to come and rip and go for this open low. Above us, we have overnight highs, which really, I mean, with this slope, overnight high doesn't really matter. Okay, in terms of the auction, I would really just look to this node up here. Where is my arrow tool? I would just look at this node, right? Overnight high, there's not a clear pivot or level there. So that doesn't exist. So we won't try to force it. And then we do have this obvious prior day high as well. So those are the areas that I'm looking for. We can remove that level. It's already been used, right? This trend line did get disrespected a little bit here on ES. Per usual, 10 o'clock, I'll be looking for the 2-hour close. I'll be looking for the 4-hour close. Right now, put them both on the 4-hour. Let's get rid of our session VP. Yeah, we've got a red candle and a green candle, down candle and up candle. Hopefully these close in the same direction. It's really annoying. If these close opposite of each other in the morning, it's probably just like a dead day for me. Yes, I mean, the unlike yesterday, because we've already cracked that daily level, it's going to be a little wonkier today. It's the first break of this trend line, right? So what I'm really looking forward to see is, are we going to bottom wick this prior day low with some strength, right? Closing either like a high volume hammer candle, showing like upside continuation, and this was just a little pullback. If it closes like engulfing through this level, we might need to be a little bit skeptical. Now, we're getting deep in the weeds. So if at like 2 p.m. specifically, guys, and this is me just thinking about the daily narrative, if at 2 p.m. we close a candle through here, or like 2:15, and it loses steam and it kind of hovers lower, it's going to do a tweezer candle. I'll show you what a tweezer looks like. It's going to do one of these, like another V, right? It's going to replay what happened yesterday. So I have this thing that I say that the market's going to do what it did. I say it all the time, but I literally mean, like, if you think about what happened yesterday, we had a late move away from the auction. Am I still in replay? No. We had a late move away from the auction, and then it came back up into the mean. It did a little V, right, on the hourly. It's a tight tweezer, but it looks like barcode continuation, but it came, touched the daily level, went right back up at the very end of the day. you should expect the market to like run the same play twice. So if around 2 p.m. we drag lower, we kiss this level, and it's chilling, it's gonna do another tweezer again, and I'll literally just run the same trade I did yesterday. I'll just go long and buy calls. That's it. How long did that take? I feel like I was talking for a while, but
thank you, Forrest.
You're welcome.
You would be very proud of me this morning. I took a long off the reversal. I was thinking about the edges, the volume profile edges, and I felt my heart racing a little bit because it's hard for me to get into reversal trades, like you know, trying to go long when we're already red. But the risk reward was really good, and I did make money on it, so that was awesome.
Ooh, that last thing you said, I did make money on it, right? And so your reality, you know, disproved all your fears, right?
Yes.
That's why I trade the edges. So
yeah.
Good job, Terry.
Thank you. So you guys, the market's going to open in about 2 minutes. We are sitting at negative 0.81% in the NASDAQ, down about 174 points. What are you guys thinking, Chad? Are you thinking bull today, bear today? Type in chat. Let me know. What are you thinking? We've been consolidating the last few days.
Yeah, I'm kind of, so I did a poll on my Discord, and we didn't get a ton of people responding yet, but no one has gone for the bull side yet. They've been flat to bear. And
flat to bear.
I do kind of agree with Forrest, though, that we're coming into a good support level. So, he just told you where his edges were down there. For ES, for me, we've got the 5,900 kind of major psychological mark, and then the low from Monday is down there at 58.92. So we could find some decent support here, which would kind of turn us into a different mode. But we could barcode again, given that we got Trump coming at 2 and better data tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. 1 minute, you guys, till market open.
Yeah, we got 40 seconds or so, and then they're going to be thirsty for a trade, I can tell.
What are you thinking, Barbie? Do you think, like, hands off, we just wait and see how the market?
I want to wait. Yeah, I want to wait and see what the initial reaction is, because we're kind of, I hate when we've already like nailed one of my targets and then we're between the first target and the second target, which is where we are. But that's okay, because I can have a new setup come. So that's what I'll be looking for.
All right. So you guys, we are at about 800 people viewing right now. Go let everyone know on your socials. Let's get that up to 900, and we'll do our first giveaway for some resets. So let's see if we can get it up another 100 to 900 is the goal. Let's do it. We can do it.
Terry says we can do it.
Oh, we did? We just did it?
I know. I said, if you say it, we can do it.
Yes. I love it.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. Always.
Zach wants to know why I'm wearing shades inside. Guys, somebody tell him.
Because he's Forrest.
Because your future is so bright. You got to wear shades.
I know, Zach. The more you know, brother. Welcome to the stream.
Market is open, you guys. All right.
Ding, ding, ding.
It looks like there we go.
We have a ding.
It looks like the first candle is a nice green candle. Maybe we retrace back to VWAP. That was kind of what I was thinking in pre-market when I hopped in that long, that reversal trade. That's what helped me also stay in the long.
Yeah, it would be nice to go up and tag VWAP. I just hope we don't get stuck here. That's kind of the thing in the back of my head that
I think we're gonna have a very similar. I just don't, especially with there being nothing other than Trumpet 2. It's just Trumpet 2, right? I get that time right?
Yeah.
I think it's very unlikely for us to have fast candles today. I would be surprised. I'd be, delightfully surprised. But I would expect more chop. It just makes sense. Kind of how we were saying, like we're in between the major levels. We cracked that daily shelf. We dipped it to the edge of that daily shelf yesterday. So either this is going to be the literal low of the day, got put in at 6 a.m. here, right? This was an up candle, and it's going to start to chop upwards, or we're going to kind of maintain this slope, which, is going to take us until it's like 2 o'clock down. Yeah, it's going to be a grindy one.
We might be setting up for indecision. Yeah, that's what I've been kind of worried about, but we'll see what we can get. I'll
I mean,
pick up
there's
some scraps. I don't care.
Oh,
yeah.
here it looks like we're just testing VWAP right now.
Yep. NASDAQ is there. ES is almost there.
Doesn't say anything on Forex. Is Trump at 2 confirmed, or I guess what's the source for that? Let's take a look.
I saw it on Forex Factory. Are they saying no?
We're at 821
that was
views,
yesterday.
guys.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything for today. Which, given that, yeah, I mean, it's
okay.
gonna
Well,
be a grindy day.
hopefully, I just
Anything can happen when he's speaking. It's very exciting.
We have
Yeah,
unemployment claims tomorrow at 8:30. So, given that that's a morning T1 data candle, I expect today to end very close to one of our key levels. We're probably going to pin like into the close, so that
my
data
pin
again
level
will
is
do its
kind of
thing.
that 5940, which does not give us a ton of room right now. So hopefully we get a better one than that.
5940 up a little bit higher.
Yeah, that's kind of been my weekly magnet because we keep headed back there. We'll see.
Yeah, we did close a few POCs there. Let me zoom out here on ES and see what we've got going on.
People are asking in chat if I have my live account yet, and I don't. It's coming soon, you guys. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. But I do have a demo account that I can share. Are you guys down for me possibly taking a trade in an eval? Okay, let's do it.
Evaluate.
Oh, sorry. What's that for us?
I was just ad-libbing.
Okay.
Do your thing.
All right.
I'm watching I'm trying to watch our 900 level a little bit here too.
So I can't see when I'm screen sharing like this. I can't see when we hit 900. Will you guys tell me?
I'll help you out.
Okay, cool. So let's get the views up to 900, you guys, so we can do our first giveaway. I love the giveaways. I think you guys can see. Yep, here we go.
There we go.
So this is an eval, MyFundedFutures. We have 50% off for new users. Use code YouTube. That's also our code for all the discounts. Right now, there's a promo where if you buy any account, you get 1 free reset, up to 3 accounts with a free reset. So definitely use code YouTube if you haven't already. So we're still in the first 5 minutes. So this is VWAP right here. I'm thinking right now when I see this, I might take a short below this first 5 minutes. So we'll see if it breaks below here.
I'm also kind of watching to see if VWAP holds us. So that kind of might be our trigger level this morning. So far in the overnight, VWAP has held price down. So I'm always looking for, are we going to continue the trend or change the trend, especially when we're into a New York open. So, oh yeah, this is getting pretty strong. We'll see.
Yeah, it could be a full gap fill. We're only down like 0.5%.
What do you mean by gap fill?
I think she's talking about the regular trading hour. So if you go pull up the QQQ chart, we're going to have a gap down, right?
Yes, gotcha. Exactly. So the common gap is from yesterday's close. So yesterday's close, if you look up here where my cursor is, we're down 116 about points. So that amount is from yesterday's close, market close. And so that's the gap. So we opened gap down during New York. And the smaller the gap, statistically, it's more likely that we fill. We don't know, right? Like it's probabilities. The bigger the gap, less likely we'll fill. And it's like a coin flip if we will fill or not. We have been consolidating the last few days. So maybe we fill. It's a smaller one. I don't know. I don't know if I want to take this.
Yeah, I think this is. I used to play those RTH gaps a lot because I was really an SPX trader, not an ES trader. Mm-hmm. And I have not paid as much attention to the regular trading hours gaps since I started trading ES. So like Forrest is like, what are you talking about? Because he's looking at the gaps from just the full session.
Oh.
And so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, both of those plays are there. If I have a futures gap, I love a futures gap. We haven't had a good gap set up in a few weeks. But
Mhm.
yeah, I have been kind of forgetting to look at the regular trading hours ones too.
Yeah, I love the gap fills. It just feels so satisfying when you can hop in and then you're done with work within the first few days or within the first few
Yeah.
hours of the day. I just love that. It
Well,
sucks when
I
it
love
doesn't
trading
work.
session. Yeah. So like right now, what I'm looking at is the VIX is doing nothing too. So I'm trying to find some reason that the market's going to break or reject, and we're just not getting a lot of indications yet. Maybe it'll be a 15-minute orb day.
It could be. I love the 15-minute orb when it works in the same direction as the 5-15. It can
Mhm.
be super strong. Or like if the 5 fails and then the 15 goes in the opposite direction, I like that too.
Well, the 5-minute orb on ES, 'cause I think you have NASDAQ up right now, is right at the high is right at VWAP right now too, by the way. So the NASDAQ one's a little bit above. I watched that a little bit too because I like them to kind of be on the same program and making the same play.
Yeah, we're just hovering around VWAP right now. 8 minutes market open, trying to form a green candle, candle number 2.
I'm just gonna be patient today. I think that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Again,
When we have
unless
the slow news days, I am naturally more patient.
yeah,
Mhm.
I should have taken the 6 a.m. long. I mean, I wasn't looking at the market at 6 a.m. to be candid, guys. But if I wanted to long, I mean, that would have been the candle, assuming that
I
that's
was
the low
not
of the
even at
day.
the computer yet. But
You
I
see-
love it when I get to
Yeah.
the computer early and take a trade and then I'm done, like while I've done my plan. But not today.
Yeah, that's the best. Sometimes to be done before even market opens.
Yeah.
But and then the trick is to stay out of the market. Like once you've made some
Yeah.
money, just to like sit on your hands.
That's part of why I like trading multiple accounts is I have like my meat and potatoes account, which is my own funded account. But then if I want to stop that one, I can move into I can keep trading the prop firm accounts. So I will kind
Yeah.
of do that sometime.
So
Same here.
sometimes I like to look at the whole picture, right? Like, and sometimes I use the VWAP as kind of an indicator of, okay, how bearish are we today? How bullish are we? Sometimes the market will only trade on one side of the VWAP, and which I find really interesting just to be able to use this as a visual. Yeah, I don't know. It's still pushing. It's trying to break up, to fill up here.
I know it's really looking like it wants to go, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Gosh, it's so tempting to hop in long. But I don't know. This gives me like heebie-jeebies a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm just
It's
gonna
not being real clean.
no trade for me right now. I'm not feeling super good about that.
I'm waiting. So the reason I went long here is the same, basically the opposite I was saying yesterday, right? If you long here, your risk is basically overnight low.
All the way down here.
Right. It's that very close edge, because this could be like if we did a slightly downward slanting line for the
Mhm.
trend, right? This would be exactly where you'd want to short if you were looking for downside continuation, right? So I would either wait for a break of this with a hold and long, because there's it's skinny above us in this from overnight. But yeah, I would the alpha on anything right now, in my opinion, is pretty bad. I would just wait until, like, if I went along, I'm going to expect another continuation of this little edge here, which, I mean, just missed. Again, that was 6 a.m. So I would look to trade this little channel. I would look for a long down here. But here's the thing. This is going to be a red candle, and everyone's going to want to flip short. So your thesis basically has to be that this thing is going to bounce off of here again, crack higher, or this was the low of the day, in which case you could long above here and go for, if I longed like, I don't know, 21,371, I'm going for prior day highs at that point. It's 200 points, right? So I'm risking whatever that is, 125 for 200. Someone asked me about RR. I don't think about RR at all, guys. I think it's a waste of time. I just trade thesis, but
Well, Forrest, it sounds like you don't necessarily think about like a set R&R, but your system, like your process, your R&R is like you're risking little for a lot more just because you're trading the edges, would you say?
yeah, most of my trades and my partner, so Sol as well. I always got to shout him out. We trade the same way. Like yesterday, for example, my long was at 21,300, right? So the risk on that was basically, are we going to do a new low of the day at the end of the day? Very unlikely. So my RR was just like, I was risking like 5 points for, whatever the heck this was, 126. So I don't measure it. It's always stupid.
I think that
But
people
I
have
think
to
in general,
worry
it's
about
a-
that because they're leveraged so high that it's going to ruin their account, and that's why people are so focused on R&R. But you are positioned where you're really comfortable in your account, right?
The reason I don't like RR, especially after talking and trying to help so many people with trading, is that people mistake the risk in RR for actual risk control, right? Because if I don't have edge, it doesn't matter what my RR is, right? What I'm putting as my stop and my take profit, right? Every bracket I put on, I could be risking 1 and going for 50, but then I literally never win any trades, right? Because I have 0 edge. Or, you change the numbers, but that's how a lot of people are. It's like, man, my brackets are, the RR of my brackets is so good, but it's like, yeah, but you don't have edge, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
So what you're saying is you're always focusing it on the actual charts and the levels and not something more arbitrary, right?
Exactly. So
That's what I try to
then-
tell people too. And then there's comments on the video saying, "This is so stupid. You're so stupid." And it's like, no, why would it be stupid to base it on the charts in the market instead of something that has nothing to do with the market? So
yeah, the other thing is, like, I know people who, like, especially in NQ, they'll always risk 30. They're like, I risk 30 and I go for 50. But then it's like you miss out because they have this fixed RR. They don't let their trades run either. And it's just like, bro, that's a 250 point long. Like, why would you cut it? And it's like, oh, that's just my default bracket. And it's just like that, in my opinion, you're also not doing trading correctly because your trade should not be the same, right? There are different cards that the market deals you. And if you're given a good hand, you gotta lever up and you gotta hold, right? And if you have a bad hand, you should, not play or, extremely leveraged.
well, and if you're trying to trade the same bracket that you were trading a year ago or 2 years ago, it's not going to work. You're going to get stopped out every single time. I had to adjust that too because my bracket was set based on ticks, and so that doesn't work anymore. The ranges are too big.
I have to announce that we have over 900 views, you guys. We did
Woohoo!
it. Woohoo! So let's do our first giveaway. What do you guys think the code might be? Barbie, what do you think?
Well, I was saying no crying in MFTV. Is that
I did
it?
see that.
They were already
today.
crying this morning.
What could it be? Welcome Rake Trades, my guess. Forrest, what's your guess?
What's the question? What's the code?
What do you think the code is today for 50 free resets? Everyone get ready.
I think the code is Barbie and Terry W. Let's get some W's in the chat, guys.
Yes, drop some W's.
In the chat.
All right.
All right, let's see it. I want to see it.
Let's do it. On 3. 1, 2, 3. 50 free resets. 50 new beginnings.
There you go. 50 new beginnings, 50 lucky people, 50 lucky fast people.
Let us know if you got it.
And someone's going to say that there are bots. I thought my charts were frozen. The market is not moving.
So that 5-minute orb on the long side would have worked, but I have to be okay with the fact that I missed it, right? Like, it's okay. Can't get FOMO.
You can't. I feel nothing. I feel nothing because I know that if I wait long enough, a perfect trade where I can literally predict the future will present itself.
Yes.
And I'll make all my money on that trade.
So that's
what my chart actually was frozen.
Oh, someone got it.
There we go.
Oh, a few got it. Elite got it. Who else got it? I saw quite a few. Oh, yeah. So it is working, guys. Yeah, the 50 go fast. Keep
we need
watching,
to make a support group for all the people who feel like they're missing out, so they can all.
Yeah, there's definitely code FOMO.
Yeah,
but if you have code FOMO, we have the other code, and the code YouTube comes with a free reset this week.
Yes. Use code YouTube to get 50% off for new users. And then also, if you're an existing user, you can use it and then you get a free reset up to 3 accounts, which is basically like getting 2 accounts for the price of 1, I feel like, in a way.
It literally is.
Stay tuned, you guys, because we do have more chances of winning some more giveaways.
How many codes were there for that one? 50?
50, yep.
All right, guys, I'm going to do some quick math for you. There's 900 people on the live. So if we do 50 divided by 900, that means 5% of the people in the chat got it. Okay. So yes, you're seeing a lot of people who didn't get it because objectively, most of y'all didn't. You know who did get it? The winners. So 5%. It's always going to be low, but it's free. You just got to get good. You just got to get good.
Well, they're only here for the codes. They don't want the levels. Okay, bye.
No, that's not true. Come back. Lots of people love the education.
Y'all want the rest of it too?
And the levels. It's good. Okay, so speaking of that, of levels and charts, Barbie, would you like to share your chart of the day with us?
Wait, Magnus is saying the code was invalid. Did 0% of the people get it? Was I wrong?
I did see it. I thought I saw 2 people who got it. Okay, we'll work on it, you guys.
I don't know if Magnus
will
is trolling me or not.
Barbie, do you want to share your chart of the day?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
While we're sorting that out, everybody chill if you want to talk about chart of the day. I picked crude today because it's actually doing things. I've been telling y'all that crude's supposed to be my stepchild. I've got the twins, the NASDAQ and the ES, and crude's supposed to be the stepchild. Lately, I've adopted gold a little bit because crude's been a little crazy. But we did have some actual activity on crude overnight because we have some news. So we'll talk about, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up, make sure everyone is understanding the current events and that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of drama. Israel is talking about doing a strike on the Iranian nuclear facilities. So that wouldn't be awesome. That would definitely have an effect on crude. So that would drop the inventory. So if it's supply, this is where your actual high school economics class is useful. It doesn't teach you a lot about finance, but you learned a little bit about supply and demand. So, if you're trying to buy Beanie Babies or whatever it is, the price goes up if you can't get them. So the same with oils or barrels of crude oil. If there's a threat to supply, the price is going to go up. What else can we say about it? Oh, so I was going to point out the levels on it, and then we can kind of talk about the trade setups. So I pulled out the 30-minute just to kind of show what this is. This is the news candle right here, the big dramatic news candle that I showed you on that one. But we can go out to the daily, and I can kind of show you where some of these levels are that I'm watching. So the main level that this news candle challenged, and I pulled it off of this wick over here, was around the 63.98. So really the 64 area on crude oil. That's our resistance right now. So if we actually get through that, then we could have a trend continuation momentum trade because we've got this inefficiency here that price is going to want to kind of move into and check up to about 68.40. So that could end up being a nice trade. It's also kind of in a range right now. So you also think about the overreaction to news. So we had this big news candle that drove us into resistance. Are we going to end up chopping around in here? If the news comes in that, hey, it's all cool with Israel and Iran, it's not actually the big deal, that was overreported, then we can end up dropping off of that resistance level and kind of chopping around in this range some more. But I am watching the 64 level for a breakout on crude right now in general. So how'd we do on sorting out our chat? Is chat cool?
Hey, chat. So let's stay positive. I just was typing, let's stay positive. Going to drop another code. Let's do it. Okay, so ready? Should we try? Let's try again. Okay, let's drop it on 3.
Get ready.
Get ready, everyone. It's for resets, 50 resets. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3. Let's see the code.
50 chances.
Chances.
50 chances. That means there's 50 chances because there's 50 people. Not everyone will get it to work. That's why it's like something to win.
Oh, Dying Voice dude got it. PB
There we
Trading
go.
got it. Here we go. Awesome job. You guys are quick. Jack the Hunter got it. Fleep got it. Cody, did you get it? I saw a W. David got it. Awesome job, guys. So it is 8:52. Wow, the market is still ripping. It looks like we are going for that gap fill. We're down about negative 50 points. Every single candle has been green. That's pretty.
It's ripping.
It is ripping. It's vertical.
We can kind of wait for the market breath a little bit too. So if you missed out on this, oh yeah, we're on my chart, so I can show you. If you missed out on this, we get retests down here of both the VWAP and the orb level. So I have my 15-minute orb is at 59.29, and then the VWAP's down there at 59.27. So we can wait for a retest. We don't want to buy a literal swing high because then we have to take a lot more heat. But I am kind of looking at this one down here.
Thanks, Barbie. So we have an amazing guest coming on today, Rake Trades. He has been trading for quite some time. Chat, do you guys have questions that you'd like to prepare to ask Rake Trades?
So let's go for quality over quantity so we can actually read them.
Yes, let's pick out a few really good ones to ask Rake Trades and get ready for him. I was looking at his channel, and one of his most recent videos, he said he made 6 figures last month, which is incredible, right? Nice. In 1 month. And he is a live trader with MyFundedFutures, which I'm so excited to ask questions about, like some tips and, what can possibly help me keep the live account. And he did make a recent video on using a daily loss limit. What are your thoughts on a daily loss limit?
Necessary. If you have proven to yourself that you are bad at risk control, being a good risk manager, then you need to have a daily loss limit to where your broker kicks you off. You have to, or you will just tilt and blow your account up.
Right.
I don't actually use a hard one, but I do think it's a really good idea. Just because I started a very different way and I was starting using my own money. I mean, I had my daily loss limit because then I wouldn't be able to trade tomorrow. I would have to wait. I would have to put more funds in, which I don't do. That's against the rules. I would have to wait for more funds to be put in. So I would be out of business. So I've been always really, really careful to always make sure that my account is left with what I need to trade in. So I came to prop trading with already kind of that mindset, but I will tell you that the traders in my group that started out trading futures with the prop accounts, because it is a smaller account, they live by those limits.
Yeah, I think that's key.
Whether it's built into the account or you add it, they're all using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started trading with my own account, and really didn't start doing prop trading probably until everyone else did when it was hot, but I'd already been trading for years at that point.
So hot.
I was forced. It took me a long time to build my account, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It took me a long time to build my.
I had the same thing. It was painful, and then I was like, "Oh, here's the shortcut." Now that I've done all that.
Yeah, I still remember. I remember the day my account hit $40,000, and I was like, "I've got $40,000." It took a long time, and then when I hit 100K, and then, So with props, yeah, you have to have, because I think you were saying this the other day, Barbie, people treat it like a slot machine, and they turn those accounts because it's not real. But you're spending, it's still leverage. You should think of prop accounts as leverage, not gambling. You should think of that.
I've had people contact me, send me emails or DMs or whatever, telling me what they've spent on prop firms, and it was absolutely shocking. That's actually why I stopped making prop firm videos for a while, because I had people that I thought I was teaching who are spending thousands of dollars every month on prop firm evals, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to do if there's no daily loss limit. So let's welcome Rake Trades, you guys. Rake Trades is here. Welcome, Rake Trades.
Woo woo! Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited.
Ooh, with the energy. Good morning.
Been a fun show so far. The market has been parabolic, so there's not a ton to do yet. I agree with you guys on that. But thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Welcome. Happy to have you.
So it sounds like you're sitting on your hands right now.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was a chance to long earlier on. But if you missed that, I think like if you missed the little window, and to be honest, it also wasn't the best of the best setup. So for me, I'm just kind of waiting. I've agreed with you guys since that there hasn't been a whole lot to do yet. So I'm being patient. I think we have some sort of data tomorrow. So it's possible we end up just like resting till then. But resting inside of like a large range. I think that's one thing that sometimes makes trading difficult for people is that these types of moves, for example, the one that just happened in the first 20 minutes of the day, 30 minutes of the day, I think there was a move that occurred. We went straight up. There was like price action that happened, but I don't know if there was a trade there. And for a lot of people, they struggle to watch a move happen and not take a trade in it. But I didn't see a trade set up yet. So I'm still waiting. Yeah, just sitting here patiently, much like you all smart people on there. So it's been a slow day so far, but I'm looking forward to maybe something.
I agree with that because the only thing we've had is kind of that little VWAP area that's kind of at a level, but it didn't really offer the risk to reward and everything. And I always call it the meat on the bone. We didn't have meat on the bone to go for.
Yeah, I've used that line a lot in my life before as well. Yeah, meat on the bone. It has to be worth it, right? Like otherwise, you know, one of the things that I talk about for me, if I'm not aiming to make 2.5x my risk, then I don't get out of bed. You know, I'm like, why am I here? You know, so right now I haven't seen any opportunities like that. So I'm waiting patiently. We do have a level that I'm watching intently at 21,350. So if the market can pull back there and kind of consolidate without going about it in a bearish maneuvering, then I'm interested. But that will be kind of a wait and see thing as well.
Yeah,
And
so
going
share
higher,
with
I
us.
imagine, yeah.
Share with us how you kind of came up with that level, the 21,350, and a little bit about your process. Like, what is it that you're waiting to see?
Yeah, so I am a trend trader. So at the most simplest terms, I like to buy higher lows and I like to short lower highs, right? And so for me, I'd like very, very clear, identifiable opportunities where it's like, okay, hey, this is a higher low, and if you take this higher low long, you'll have an opportunity to catch XX points on XX risk, right? So it's important to me. The level system I use is a little too specific to nail into in a short video like this, but what I will say is that most of the time, everybody has like roughly the same levels. Your levels might not, we might not get our levels the exact same way, but they'll probably be pretty close to one another, or like generally speaking, because the market reacts at certain areas, right? So the biggest thing for me is less so like the detailed nuance of like, how does everyone find their levels? Because again, everyone's methodology is valid. Like looking at previous days high is valid. I saw something earlier about volume shelves. I have never once looked at a volume shelf in my life. I have no doubt that it is valid and will somehow line up similarly to what I do, right? So levels, and they end up being virtually the same. It's more just the understanding of how to use them. And for me, how to use them is as reference points. And so they can kind of act as like a guide of where we might go next, right? So if I'm thinking 21,350, which you could also just consider it on the chart kind of a pre-market area where we had resistance a few times, we struggled to break above, that if that area holds, that will act as my reference point, my clue that we might continue to go higher up into another level.
Mm-hmm. So you really do watch for confirmation, which is like hard for newer traders to do, I think.
It is. I'm also a time frame addict. So I'm looking at my camera at you right now. Behind you all, I have my screen show. Oh, wow. Something.
Whoa. Here we go. Oh, can we share it? Here, I can.
Yeah, I got my screen. You can.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, this is wild.
I was just looking for news. I don't see anything.
Has
anybody seen any news?
Spiked that high without news?
That's why I don't see anything yet. If anybody sees anything, it's not on mine yet.
Some type of headline news. Yeah, whenever I see this, I'm like, someone said something.
Yeah, someone said something. Someone's doing something.
It's not on News Squawk yet.
Yeah. Look at that. It's almost a full gap fill. So when
They're
you
saying
see-
tariff news with Germany. That makes sense.
Germany.
it's like all the
We even
algo.
have beef
It's
with
tariff
Germany. I thought
news.
us and Germany were on good terms. When did we start fighting with Germany?
Well, it's tariff news, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's tariff news.
Yeah.
Beefing
It's
with everybody right now.
hypersensitive.
Okay, the German chancellor says there are signs the U.S. could be interested in a deal with the EU. He also says there's no signs with the war in Ukraine ending, but I think we're on the tariff news. So the German chancellor's talking right now. That's what we're doing.
So Rake Trades, when you see this, does it
Mhm.
factor in your conceptualization or if you'll take a trade or not?
Yeah, when you see something like that, I'm not going to lie, I'm not incredibly eager to go rush and put a position on. But what I will start to do is these spikes like this tend to get gravitated towards, is the way that I'd phrase it. It acts as like a gravity point. You can see similar things when we have like a CPI event or some sort of news event. We'll have a wick in a certain area, and those tend, I say that very cautiously, they tend to be gravitated towards. Right now, I have no interest in immediately buying, being like, well, we're going to gravitate towards there, I want to make that. Well, that's not what I'm saying. But if the market were now to pull back into the 350 area, if we were to set up some sort of bullish entry that I wanted to, I could maybe use that as a target, right? So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, for the viewers on here today, believe me, there's nothing more that I wish than a clear trade was setting up. It'd be a lot easier for me as a presenter to just show you a trade I take rather than try to explain everything. But yeah, I definitely won't lie. I am not super eager to go rushing in to anything. I'm pretty specific about the trades I want to take. And usually that includes multiple a day, but when it's not there, I won't force it.
Rake, or what's your trading style? Or is there like a system that you use or that you developed? How would you describe it? Give me the 1, 2, 3.
Truly, at its most basic level, I long higher lows, short lower highs. So I trade with the trend. So I like to let a trend be established. I am constantly watching all time frames. I think it's very important for not to understand like top-down analysis. I think that was kind of I don't know. I think it's a concept in trading that becomes over-focused on. It's more important how time frames work together than looking at them like top-down. So I like to be a master of different time frames and then trade with the trend. So if I'm identifying a higher low, like realistically, what you can see on this chart, if it had just consolidated a little bit more and maybe pulled back into a level, this would have been an opportunity I would have been looking forward to as a potential higher low, right? Like it's not, I say this to say it's, where's my little brush tool? I don't know how to use any of this stuff. I don't know. But let's say that like right here, we pulled back into this level. That would be something that, oh, there we go, is like right there, you can identify it as a PHL, a potential higher low, right? That's where I want to go long. I want to go long on potential higher lows. And let's say this trend were to flip and somehow this thing were to get back underneath the level, set a lower high, flip, then I'm looking to go short at one of the potential lower highs, right? So I don't like to fight. I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm dumb, which means that I want to just, whatever the market is making easy, whatever is the path of least resistance on the market, I like to do that. And usually that just means trading with the trend, whichever way it might be.
I agree. And I was saying this, if you scroll back, on the 4-hour or any higher time frame, if you held a long enough, you would be up right now. If you held a short long enough, you would be red right now, right? Just in this, since whatever that weekly bottom was back in April. So yeah, 100% of your trend trading. Love that. What's the I guess, what's the worst? I'm always curious in like, what was the low point for every trader? What was the high point? Like, right? What was the worst part of your trading career?
Yeah, I'm very open about it. I basically spent 2 years just like taking all my savings and my incoming paychecks and throwing them into like a garbage can that was on fire. So
Nice.
I spent 2 years basically just throwing my money down the drain. I would say that was a low point, but here's the truth is that, and I always tell this to traders, I don't know about you all, maybe I'm unique in this way, but I have had a new low point every single year. I think that one of the things that comes along with being a successful trader is the year-to-year process that comes with it. And over the course of like a year, especially if you're trying to size up, you're trying to get better, you're trying to make more money than you did last year, you're going to do something stupid. It's just really, I mean, it's unavoidable, right? And so there's been times where this year, for example, I'm trying to look back at my P&L calendar and see the day, but I want to say it was in like February where I had a day, where reached all max loss limits across like my personal trader aids, my funded my live accounts with props. I reached out to the risk team. I said, hey, open up my daily loss limit. I just want to trade with freedom, like make it something crazy like 20K. And there's no way I hit it. And spoiler alert, I hit it, right? And so that to me, by no means was that the most money that I've lost in a day. In 2024, I lost a lot more than that trading options in a day. So each year, you'll go through new emotional lows. I mean, I don't mean to circumvent the question there and give a response, but I truly mean that. Like, I think one of the things that people assume about trading is that once you've got it figured out, you've like got it figured out and you're just good to go and it's just sunshine and rainbows. And it's like, oh no, like every single year you're going to do stuff where you're like, oh man, like I really hate trading. Like I really hate it. Like that was a terrible decision. Why did I do that? I hate it. I hate myself for making that decision. And it doesn't go away, at least in my experience. I've experienced a swing like that every single year, right? And I can pretty much point to them.
How long have you been trading now?
End of February, early March. Yeah, so they come no matter what. And I wish that I had one moment like that, but I would say that if you're going to expect to do this for a long time, expect that you might get a new one each year.
Yeah. I did watch your video on the importance of daily loss limit. It was so good. If you haven't seen it, go to Rake Trades on YouTube and watch it. It's really good. And I watched your last video, the most recent one, and you said you made 6 figures last month, right? Congratulations. That's a ton of money. And so you're also a live trader with MyFundedFutures. Can you share with us a little bit about your experience, what it's been like to be a live trader with MyFundedFutures?
Absolutely. Yeah. MyFunded is great. I'm curious. I'm trying to pull up how much of last month's profit that I had did that live account occur for. Let's see. In April, it was about 60K, which is awesome. So I've been live with MyFundedFutures since the end of September. I started out with a $20,000 live account with them. And then my experience has been great. It really has. I have taken that account now to multi-6 figures. So it's been a journey, but it feels good that it's like a 7th or 8th month process, right? So it's not windfall. There's been no massive winners. Like the equity curve on it is something I'm very proud of. But I just will say, I think that you mentioned the video about daily loss limits, right? And I know I was listening to beforehand a few. I know that there's controversy around daily loss limits, and a lot of times people feel that they don't need them or they don't. I don't know. I personally believe that as long as you're structuring it correctly with intention in mind, a daily loss limit is like a huge lifesaver. And a lot of the time for me, my daily loss limit is like the one trade I'm willing to risk on the day. Like if I take a trade and I lose and I hit my daily loss limit, I'm like, oh, whatever, no worries. That means I can't trade the next day. So on my MyFunded live account, that's probably been one of the things that has contributed to my success, is that I have been very calculated with what my daily loss limit is, which it changes. When I was starting out with the $20,000, I would have it at 5% of my overall drawdown, which was $1,000. And then as it scaled up, I started to increase a little bit, decrease a little bit. I'm now at the point where I want to try and continue to keep it small, because I'm just playing with bigger numbers. And when you're playing with bigger numbers, you're more prone to doing stupid stuff, like having a big losing day. And one big losing day would one or two would hurt a lot, right? The whole reason this account has gone so long is because I haven't had those, right? So for a live account or any account out there, whatever it is, one of the things that I think has given me an opportunity to succeed massively is that I'm fully aware of what my average losing days are like, and I'm fully aware of what my average winning days are like, and they have to be 2x the size, or it just doesn't work for me, right? Again, everybody's style is different. Some of you out there might be more R to R, or you might be more win rate traders rather than R to R, whatever the case may be. If you've got a successful trading strategy, I don't care if you like count crickets to figure out what way you're going to bet on the market. If you're successful, you're successful. But for me, what I've found works is identifying, okay, here's how much I'm willing to lose on a certain day. And that's okay, knowing that when I win, my wins are at least 2.5 times bigger than my losses. And to speak to one of the points that I know was made earlier today, it's not hypothetical. Like for me, I'm not putting these on a chart and being like, I can maybe make 1 to 10 here or something like that. It's like months and months and years really of data showing me that my average winners are like 2.5 times the size of my average losers, right? So for me, that the math behind that is very important. And the daily loss limit, like, it just kind of forces me to stick with that math, you know? So yeah, sometimes I rant, but I've been very, the MyFundedFutures live account, I've been very happy with the performance the last like 7 months.
That's absolutely
great.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing that you scaled from 20K in a live account to multiple 6 figures in a prop account, in a live prop account. It's like mind blowing to me. You're such an incredible.
This is why we trade futures.
Yeah,
there is no ceiling.
Yeah, and the daily loss limit, I have to second that. So I'm being transitioned right now to live.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I had a starter account, a 50K, and there's a force $1,200 daily loss. And I have to completely second what you're saying. Like that's why I was able to trade this account for, I think, like 81 days or something. Yeah. Total, because I would have been wiped out because I'm human. And it's so easy just to like keep thinking that, well, maybe this next trade, I'll make back all those losses and then end up green or break even for the day. And the reality is, like in your video, yeah, that might happen, but long term, you're likely to just bust the account.
And I would also argue that I've been doing this now for coming up in October, it'll be 8 years. And I've been fortunate in those coming up in 8 years to meet a lot of different traders in the space and talk to a lot of different people. And I've known people who were making a lot of money for the course of several years, and then a 2-week bad stretch. Multiple people I know, a 2-week bad stretch, they've lost like 7 figures, right? Or whatever the number. I think only one of them was 7 figures, but the other one was like high. I think
a lot of people can relate to that. So
yeah, it's like, and they were successful for years, right? And years, and then they had a 2-week stretch where they just couldn't control it, and you start wiring money in, you start doing all these things, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy, that's 2 years or 3 years of work down the drain, and now all of a sudden it's like it's like it happens so fast too. In the moment you have no idea how to stop it or deal with it. You're just like, wait, what? You're like, and then you look back afterwards and you're like, wait. So that's why I understand that even if you're somebody who's been a successful trader for a while, you're like, I don't need a daily loss. Like I got my discipline, all that. Not saying that you don't, because there are absolutely people out there who have the self-control to do it. All I would throw caution to the wind is that human beings are not meant to be good at this. So at some point in time, something's going to happen that's not up to you. It's not a decision you are making. It's a decision that instinctively your brain is making without your choice. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you take a huge loss one day. And that sucks, but that's not the real danger. The real danger is the next day, because when you take a big loss one day, the biggest danger is the next day being like, you know what, I have to make it back. I've got to size up. And next thing you know, you have 2 or 3 losing giant days in a row. And in your brain, the only outcome of getting that back is to risk your entire account or risk your full portfolio, whatever the case may be. And I have known people who have that has happened to multiple years after being successful as a trader. So it's almost like it doesn't matter who you are, you're at risk, right? Like you are not immune. None of us are special, because again, we're all human beings, and human beings have a certain way. So to anyone out there who's like, I don't need it. I'm like, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you don't. It probably wouldn't hurt, right? Like what's the downside that you throw? Like let's say you're a successful trader. Your losing days are average $500. You feel like you're never going to break your daily loss. I'm like, okay, then throw one in there at 5,000 just in case. Just because, who knows, if you averaged a $500 loss and all of a sudden one day you lose 5K, you're not gonna be able to stop yourself and keep going, right? So the number
discipline is the most important. We say that every day, discipline. So if you need help with it, there's software to help you with it.
And I think that most traders, whether they admit it or not, need help with it. And if they think they don't, it might just be a matter of time, right? Like that's all my. Well, yeah,
even if on a good day you have the discipline, you have to account for when you're not having a good day, because we all have bad days. We all come in overtired or overstressed or something sometimes.
This is the perfect segue for me to announce my daily loss limit service. When you hit your daily loss limit, I will personally drive to your house.
Smack!
And turn your computer off.
Oh, I was going to smack them.
Thanks, guys. That was all really helpful information. I would like to welcome Luke back in so Luke can say hi to you, Rake Trades. Luke, welcome back.
All right, Rakey, Jakey, Tradey, I got breaking news.
What up?
Breaking news, fresh off the MFFU desk. We're going to do a giveaway.
Woo! I love that.
To celebrate you being here.
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to put a code on the screen, and I'm going to ask you to read the code.
Okay.
All right. The rules are, for everyone watching, you must be a subscriber to be eligible to win. So if you have not yet subscribed, now is your chance. It's your final chance, or you are SOL. It stands for shit out of luck. Good day to you. You are dead to us if you're not subscribed to the stream. All right, Rakey, Tradey, Jakey, code is going on the screen now.
Hey, Rake 50.
50 of you are winning free resets. 50 people out there in the chat are taking free resets home with Hey, Rake 50. Do you like that code?
Yeah, buddy.
Woo!
I appreciate you guys doing that. Hopefully some people are able to snatch in on that.
All right, and I've got a question for the chat. Has anybody out there never purchased with MyFundedFutures before? If you've never bought anything with MyFundedFutures, I need you to put a 1 in the chat. Okay, and Rake, while they're doing that, why do you like MyFundedFutures?
Oh man, you guys have just been. It's. I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase it, but it's like old reliable, like old dependable, faithful. You know, like I've just never had issues. There's no confusion on X and Y. There's nothing that's up for debate. And I love that. It's stability. And when you're a prop trader or looking to kind of use props however you can, the number one thing that I want at least is just trust and reliability. And I trust you guys, you know, and I think that and you've shown me time and time again why I should, you know. So I think for me, the biggest thing would be trust and that element of comfortability. And I trust you guys.
And Reiki, there are a good number of people in the chat who put a 1, suggesting that they've never purchased with us before. And I'm about, you know who Billy Mays is?
Yeah.
I'm about to sound like Billy Mays. Not only do we have the reset giveaway, but wait, there's more. If you've never purchased from MyFundedFutures before, to celebrate a big week, to celebrate Rake being here, I've got a link in the chat with code YouTube to get 50% off any plan. No activation fees ever. Half off. You'll never see a deal like this again. That's all I'm going to say.
Never again. No. I think MyFundedFutures is a special one out there in the space, and I'm very, very grateful. You guys are the first firm that I ever worked with and kind of created a relationship with, and have been very, very nice to me throughout every single inch of the process. So if there was a chance for me to say I appreciate you guys, I'll take this as that chance and say I appreciate you guys.
All right. Well, you know who else is about to be appreciating you, Rake?
Oh,
Me.
Not only the people who are taking advantage of the 50% off because you're here, not only the people who got the free resets, but how would you feel about giving away 5 free sim-funded accounts?
I personally would feel great about that. I'd feel like, let's do it.
Okay. You like it?
I like it.
Are you open to participate in this process? It's going to be hectic.
I'm ready.
Okay. You've got 5 50K expert sim-funded accounts that are going out there. We've never done this before.
Experts. We'll do an Oh. All right. Yeah. All right.
It's time to turn up now. It's go time. All right. What we're going to do is I'm going to ask the chat for for truly valuable, insight driving, useful questions for Rake. In 5 users who has questions that are actually interesting, Rake will select them, read their names off, and you will win a sim-funded account. We're not going to answer all the questions today. We're going to have to come back and do it just because 5 questions and our time is 5 minutes. But we want to get the questions out there, and that gives you a reason to subscribe and come back and see them. So, Rake.
Absolutely. I'm trying to track the ones that I think are standing out to me right now.
It gets a little wild.
It does. I'm trying my bestest.
Luke did this to me multiple times, by the way. Good luck.
He loves picking on Forrest with this.
Good luck, brother.
I love that we have sound effects now.
All right. While Rake is reading and picking out 5 users, I'm going to say this. If you have been a MyFundedFutures customer before, I know I talked about half off for new users. If you have been a customer before, use code YouTube and get a free reset with any account purchase. Again, a free reset with any account purchase. The link is in the description. The link is pinned to the chat. Code is YouTube. This ends very shortly. So if you have not yet taken advantage of it, use it now. You get 3 uses. If you do not use all 3 uses, it goes away forever. You never get another shot again. And I'm not just being dramatic. It's gone.
Okay, wait. Just for reference, I don't think I'm going to be able to pick 5 by the time in the next 5 minutes. They're going fast.
You might have to go a little bit random.
Yeah. We might have no choice. Okay.
Just post your question once, please, y'all.
Yeah.
It's so much harder when you don't.
For tomorrow, Luke, we should create a survey, a simple little form. People can submit their questions ahead of time, and then we can review them.
Forrest knows the pain.
Gorgeous idea.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the first one. It's at Luke Jacoby in the chat. So
I found the first one that I like. Where do I put this? I'm gonna throw it in.
If you say it out loud or whatever, however, we
Fernando Romero is the first one. If 19-year-old Rake Trades could see you by now, would he be proud or would he be surprised of who you've become? 19-year-old me would be extremely proud, even though I had no idea what stock trading was at that time. I always knew in my life I was going to do something where I was passionate and excited about it. And I'm passionate and excited about what I do right now. So 19-year-old Jake would be very, very proud. Very proud. Yeah. Okay, I found another one here. Manhag. When you are tilted, what is the best coping strategy that you use? Manhag. When you are tilted, what is the best coping strategy you use? Great question. Very simple answer. Leave. There is no more powerful way to avoid tilt than do this. Watch. I'm going to demonstrate for you right now. Are you watching?
Yep, there it is.
You get up and you leave. I'm dead serious. That is hands down the best way to cope with tilt. Get up and just leave. There's no.
I literally go outside. That's what I'm always telling them to. Go outside.
There's no solution that you will have that is more effective than literally leaving your screen. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to find something that does that. Yeah.
I think I saw somebody post the same question twice.
That should be a DQ.
DQ.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to beat the system.
DQ.
A lot of people try to beat the system. All right, I've got one more that I like that I just saw. Lance asked, how has stepping into the world of trading changed your relationship with risk, and what has it taught you about control in life? This is an amazing question because it has completely changed my thought process on risk in every way, shape, and form. So now, I think because of being a trader, I look at everything through a lens of R to R. I'm like, oh, like, is that worth it? Like, I look at like I have a housekeeper, for example, and in my eyes, I'm like, well, that I pay a certain amount of dollars. The reward I get is I don't have to do this. Like, literally everything in my life is based on risk to reward and math behind it now. There's a really great book called Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb, which talks about just in general how your approach to risk will change once you start taking them, and how finding asymmetric risk opportunities is how you succeed in life. So yes, that's a great question. And I would 100% encourage anybody to follow and kind of continue their relationship with risk outside of trading as well. Definitely.
At the casino. I'm kidding.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what's the best way, Rake, for somebody to decrease their risk?
Best way for somebody to decrease.
Wait, no, I have the answer. No. You got to say what?
Rhetorical.
Wait. Oh, what?
The buy an account, get a free reset offer for MyFundedFutures. Twice as many shots at success. Code.
That's
YouTube.
just good math. That's just good math.
It's just good.
You don't have to battle for that code. It works until I think Sunday night, right?
Unless we sell out, Barbie.
Oh. There's that.
One other one I saw from Kasparinus. How important is it to build your personal brand while going on your trading journey? Not important at all. I personally didn't have a personal brand until like a year after I became a full-time trader. So it's something that you should do if you want to pursue having a personal brand, but I wouldn't necessarily correlate those.
I would argue it distracts from trading entirely.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I do this is because I love being a creative. Like I'm a dancer. I love making stuff. I've had cameras in my hands or been in front of them my entire life. So, and I like sharing. So that's why I do YouTube.
That's what I was thinking.
A massive
creative outlet. Yeah. So it's not important to trading, but I mean, I've just been compelled to share and teach and everything, but that's just me.
I love it. If you've seen my Instagram at all, I truly at this point I don't even make content anymore. I just post stories, and it's like just me having fun doing whatever I want. If you watch my stories, it has like I have a trading page that focuses more on trading, but like my main Instagram page is just me having fun, and so I do that because it's fun. But yeah, so I wouldn't fall into a trap of a personal brand or anything like that, but. There was one question I saw that I thought was great to maybe end on from Rusty, which is just the biggest mechanical and psychological mistakes that failing traders make. I think that I have two good answers for this. The biggest mechanical mistake I think that traders make, technical wise, is not using the opening print in their favor. So for example, like today, with the market so strong above the opening print, we're not really in a position to look for shorts. And if you use that one simple rule, you probably will save yourself a lot of headache, right? With the opening print on the NASDAQ for the day being down here, I think a very easy mechanical error that you could solve is start trading with the trend more and using the opening print. And for the psychological mistake to end off, I would say the biggest thing for me is expectation management. Expectation management. So that is the idea that every single day you want to come into the market with the idea that you'll expect nothing, right? So if you come into the day thinking it's just another day, maybe we get a trade, maybe we don't, I promise you, those are the days your best trades are going to come. They're going to come when you're expecting nothing. And on a day where, like today, where the market doesn't set something up, it's a lot easier to kind of walk away and be like, who cares? Because you expected nothing in the first place, right? If you came into today and you expected some massive move to the downside, and then this happens, you're probably dealing with a lot of FOMO, a lot of issues. So you can solve that psychological barrier by starting each day and being like, I don't really expect the trade to set up. And it's a lot easier to accept it once it happens.
All right, Rake. Let's congratulate our winners. Fernando, Manhug, Lance, Kasperiunas, and Rusty. And I'll say this again, one last time for everyone out there, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And even more importantly, if you have never purchased with MyFundedFutures before, you heard what Rake had to say, the trustworthy, transparent platform that comes through every time. We're like a hole that squirts out water, Old Faithful, always there.
We're a hole that squirts out water.
MyFundedFutures. Use code YouTube. The link is pinned in the chat. It's in the video, the description of the video. Half off any plan. And if you've been with us and you're an old friend, free reset with any account up to 3 times. Jakey, Rakey, Trady, thanks for being with us.
I appreciate you guys so much, man. Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of the day.
You as well. Happy trading. All right, Barbie, Forrest, how was that?
That was a good one.
A lot of wisdom was dropped. I hope y'all pick some of it up.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good. He looks at the market kind of similarly to how I do. I'm gonna have to go check out some of his stuff.
All right. Any life lessons, Forrest or Barbie? Before we say hi to our good
life
friend,
life lessons with Luke.
LLF doesn't hit as hard as LLL. No.
All right. Life
I'll
lessons with Luke. Before we bring Ash on. You notice how magnetic Rake was? You notice he had a smile on his face the entire time? That type of energy is pervasive in the spaces that you occupy. We all have the chance to bring some energy and some smile and some joy into the rooms that we enter, the people that we talk to. We can choose to look at the world positively, or we can choose to look at it negatively. Choose positive. How's that?
I like that one. That's a good one.
Cool.
He did come in with great energy. That's why it was fun for everybody. And I feel like the people who come in with the good positive energy make the most money. Am I wrong? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, yeah, emotions are infectious. Get some good ones.
Cool. All right, my friends. I will see you at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And now I would like to welcome our good friend, Ashy Ash, the Unicorn Man, the Ash Man, Ash Trades, joining us on this hump day.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
How are we doing?
Excited to be back on here.
We got a nice audience for you. They're riled up. They asked if you were going to do giveaways today, Ash. I didn't know what to tell them. Are you?
I would love to. If we get a chance to. We definitely should.
All right. How many likes do we have, Ashy?
We are currently at, let's see, 726.
Okay. And what is this march up towards?
I've been saying 1K every single time I've been on here, so we got to have a base level of 1K.
1,200.
1,200. Let's raise the bar. Let's hit 1,200 today.
1,200 likes. Ash has some giveaways, so like the stream if you haven't yet. Share the stream if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Use code YouTube if you haven't yet. And Ash, I mean, we had some news, that German trade news. We got some wicks out there. I want to know what you have to say about that and what that does for your levels. What else are we going to look forward to in the next 60 minutes here?
I'll be breaking down my bias for NQ and ES. It's a little repetitive for me because NQ and ES are what I trade the most. So that's what I'm going to be going over majority of the days. We have a trade on now, so I'm going to explain the trade and walk through this idea as well. With that being said, for anybody that is watching, you have to understand that you have to own your own risk. Okay, so we are not responsible of that. You are to make your own decisions and assume your own risk. So take complete ownership of that. This is my trade. I'm glad to publicly document and talk through all of my logic, but you have to understand that you own all of your own decisions.
Awesome. Well, alrighty, Ash. Are you good to roll for the next hour?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
You'll run the giveaway and close us out?
That sounds great.
Awesome, my friend. All right. Over to you, Unicorn Man. And let's get some unicorns in the chat to welcome our good friend here.
Hey, how is chat doing today? Good morning, or good day, depending on where you're from. Hello and welcome back to another 10:30 to 11:30 segment with myself. I hope everybody's day is going well. Hope everybody's week is going well. Let's see how everybody's doing so far today. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green on the day. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red on the day. And throw a 3 in the chat if you have yet to trade so far today. See how everybody's doing so far. Couple 1s, couple 2s, couple 3s. Okay. Well, you heard the man. 1,200 likes. That'll get another giveaway. So for anybody that's watching, do chat a favor. Smash that like button. Let's get to that next giveaway. Keep an eye on it. Keep me updated. If somebody sees that we hit 1,200 likes, let me know so that we can run it. Okay, so let's get into the information here. I'm going to go ahead with a top-down analysis to explain what we're looking at here. All right, so let's get over to NQ. And here's what I have for today. First things first is the economic calendar. We had no news drivers today, but we did have the trade news. So everybody saw that volatility around 10 o'clock. So no other news to be aware of, but we need to keep track of Trump. You can clearly see how the moment he makes a tweet, talks about any of the trade deals, how that instantly induces some volatility in the marketplace. So we need to keep track of that. That's the first thing. Second thing is getting over on the daily chart. Again, it's going to sound real repetitive with me. You guys are going to think that I'm just bullish every single day. But there is logic to my decision making. Okay, today's logic for myself is this. We spoke about how I create biases. The way that I create biases is looking at swing highs, swing lows, or imbalances on the daily chart. Here's a bullish imbalance here that price continues to find support from. You can see that it was tested here once, it was tested here once, and it was tested here again. This bullish imbalance continues to provide support for higher prices. This explains my bias for today. I have a bullish bias, and I'm looking for higher prices, and I'll be aiming at the previous day high. So to create a bias, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking for the bullish imbalance to provide support for higher prices, and I'm aiming at the previous day high. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is look at this clear market structure shift, breakout, whatever you want to call it, change in the state of delivery. we had a clear downtrend here, right? The market was moving lower until this morning. It broke out of that downtrend. It had a change in the state of delivery, whatever you want to call it. I know there's hundreds of different terms at this point. But we had a clear and decisive change in the state of delivery. So we had been moving lower all the way until this point in time. Another thing explaining why I'm looking for higher prices. Next thing is that we've spoke about equal highs or equal lows in terms of draw on liquidity. Look at all these equal highs here. We have a bunch of highs resting right here. To me, this is a clear draw on liquidity. So again, everything, in my opinion, or my analysis, is looking for higher prices, and it's coming from being objective to price action through the logic that I view price. So now understanding that I have a bullish bias, then it's just a matter of time and entry function, right? So I had spoke about how I participate during New York Open, and this is what I use for long positions, right? A swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high, right? A bullish breaker, and I want that bullish breaker to have an FVG aligned with it. So you can see it here. It's very clear. And both ES and NQ had that same position. Swing low, swing high, new low, new high. And you can see the FVG there during New York Open. Okay, so now that the live account is ready, let's hop back over here. Now that the live account is ready, I'm able to take some trades here on stream. And that explains the top-down analysis I have for today's long position. And this is what the risk looks like. Entering at the beginning of the breaker with a stop loss at the low, aiming for 2R. Now, understanding risk management is important here. Position sizing is key, okay? That is why I'm over here on MES, the micro, not the mini, because of the daily loss limit I have on the live account. Right, I have a daily loss limit of $500, right? So trying to execute this on a mini would be too large of size. That explains why I'm down here on a micro. Right, so 15 points. You can see that there's 2 contracts there. Okay, so 15 points with 2 contracts would be, it's 14.75. I'm just rounding up, but 15 points on 2 contracts of MES would be $150 of risk. Right, position sizing accordingly is important. So I would not hit that daily loss limit. So you have to understand that the market determines the entry, the market determines the stop. You control your risk management. Right? Invalidation to this idea is the swing low. If price went to the swing low, that would be a stop loss. If price went to plus 2R, that would be a win. Invalidation is the swing low. So I'm not changing my invalidation. What I'm changing is my position size. Okay. Next thing to understand is that risk is to be accepted before the risk is taken. So you need to understand how much you're willing to lose within one day and how many trades you're willing to take within one day before you click any buttons. Right? Like, I know that my daily loss limit is $500, and I don't even want to hit that daily loss limit. So I'll position size accordingly to only risk about $150 here. You need to accept that risk before the risk is taken, because when you're in the position, then it's a time to allow the probabilities to play out. You have to do all of your due diligence leading up to the position, because once you're in the position, you have to allow price to do what it wants to do. You can't control price. You can control your risk. You can do your due diligence leading up to the position. But once you're in the position, then it's a matter of allowing the probabilities to play out. Okay, so there's my analysis for NQ and ES today that explains the position that I'm in. At the moment in time that we're at now it's just a matter of waiting and being patient and allowing the probabilities to play out, not allowing any emotions to deter your executions. It simply comes down to falling in love with the process and allow the results to be a byproduct of that. Okay, so I've already accepted the fact that this could be a $150 loss. I'm willing to risk that $150. If it's a loss, fine. I'm only willing to take 1 trade per day, 2 trades per week. That way I can control the risk. And that risk has been accepted. So now it's a matter of time of waiting and being patient, allowing those probabilities to play out. Okay, so as we're waiting and watching, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. Once again, you have to understand that I'm here documenting my own journey. This is not a signal service. You are to take responsibility of your own risk. Be an independent thinker, take extreme ownership, and own all of your decisions. Okay? As we're waiting and watching, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. We can go over them. That explains my position. And at this moment in time, it's just a matter of being patient and waiting. How do I know which FVG to enter off of? I don't enter off of the FVGs. The position indicator tool right here is the exact position, along with you can see the entry level and the stop loss. Right? I enter off of the breaker block. So my entry is the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the low. I'm not entering at the FVG. How do you identify displacement? Displacement is the presence of an FVG. Right? Look at this FVG right here. That's what displacement is. Displacement literally means the presence of an FVG. So, again, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. As we're waiting and watching, we have a deal for 1,200 likes. So, like the video, sub to the channel, turn the notifications on. That way you can be alerted for when we go live again. Get the likes to 1,200 so we can run that next giveaway. Ash, how many days a week do you typically trade? I take 1 trade a day maximum, 2 trades a week maximum. I show up and run my business every single day, right? You guys see me here on the live stream Monday through Friday. You don't need to risk just because you show up, right? So I complete the justifications to my actions every single day because I'm building that muscle memory. I'm building that conviction through experience. I'm collecting that data every single chance I can to obtain that conviction. But just because you show up, that does not mean you need to click buttons. There's a difference between, learning and working and executing. You have to control your risk management. And in my opinion, less is more. Quality over quantity. If you don't have a bias and you see the pattern, will you trade it? No, I'm not a pattern day trader. I don't just trade patterns. If you don't have logic that you can base your decisions off of, then you should not take the trade. We deal with probabilities as risk managers, as day traders. If you can't clearly identify the reason how or why you're going to take a trade, you should not take the trade. Okay? Very good question so far. Let me get over and check where we're at. Once again, we had a deal for 1,200 likes. If we get to 1,200 likes, we'll run another giveaway. So if you haven't already, like the stream, sub to the channel, turn those notifications on. We will be here relentlessly working and learning every single week. So let me get over to chat. Let me take a look, see where we're at. Let me take a look. 1.3. Very nice job, everyone. Congratulations. You've gotten yourself to another giveaway. If I heard Luke correctly, I believe this next giveaway is for 50 resets. Okay, so everybody get ready. We're going to run the next giveaway. You've completed the deal, so very good job. I'll give you guys another 15 seconds to get ready. We're going to go ahead and run the next giveaway of 50 resets. Everybody prepare for the code to go on the screen. We are preparing to run the next giveaway. Here's the code. 50 ASH live. This will be for 50 resets. A deal is a deal. Congratulations to getting it to 1,200 likes. The code is 50 ASH live. It's for 50 resets. A deal is a deal. Very good job, everyone. Congratulations. Very good job. Very, very good job. Congratulations. Throw a W in chat if you were able to get one of those one of the giveaways. If you were able to get one of the resets. Throw a W in chat if you were able to obtain one of those. There's the W's. Congratulations. W, W, W. Very good job. Alrighty, back to the position. Let's take a look. Nice push higher there. The position's now in profit. Let's take a look. Want to see if it is at 1-to-1. Close. Starting to close in on 1-to-1 here. Once again, it's just a matter of being patient and waiting. Does look like NQ is doing a good job moving higher. This is one of the Asia session liquidities too coming up here. We had pointed to the equal highs as the target. Let's get the rest of the drawings off the screen. We were pointing to these as the target, so we are moving towards the target. See if it wants to continue reaching higher for the equal highs. We are going to have a new hourly candle open here in another 2 minutes as well. That should give us some information. If the ES hourly candle closes above the change in the state of delivery, that would be favorable for the longs. So we got another minute or so. Let me leave that line on here for now so we can have some information when this candle closes in another minute. Actually, NQ and ES are out of sync. Is that a problem for your position? In my opinion, I don't think they're out of sync. They're both moving higher today. I understand that NQ looks to be the stronger pair, but they're both moving in the same direction. So I wouldn't call them out of sync. All right, they're both experiencing a move higher. So in my opinion, two correlated assets moving in the same direction is in sync. If anybody has any questions or comments, wants to go over this information, feel free to throw it in chat as we're waiting and watching. For anybody that's not willing to continue to hold this position, we're now closing in on 1-to-1 risk to reward. You can close this and take a nice profit for a 1-to-1 risk to reward here if you no longer feel like holding for 2R. Very nice job on the long position pointed out. Did a beautiful job moving higher towards the first target. This is also an hourly candle closure above the change in the state of delivery. So this is good in terms of a bullish bias, right? So same thing with NQ, how we broke out of this downtrend, right? Now it looks like ES is getting a chance to break out of that downtrend as well. Okay. So very good job for anybody that took the position. Throw a W in chat if you're able to capture the long with me. That's a nice 1-to-1 risk to reward trade. Very good job. Throw a W in chat if you're able to capture the long with me. There you go. A bunch of W's. Very good job. Anybody that took the W, congratulations. Now, more importantly, once you're able to get green, it's your responsibility to stay green. Okay, over trading is not a good idea. Having the mindset of I need more or you didn't get enough is very detrimental to your risk management. In my opinion, you're either green or red. If you're green on the day, it's always better to stay green on the day. So over trading is a very bad idea. There's no FOMO to have, right? If we continue going to 2R, that doesn't matter. What does matter is whether you're red or green. Okay, so don't chase the position. If you took the long and you close the position, close all your charts. Be done for the day. Turn off all the platforms and go to the gym. You've completed your objective for the day. You're green. Now stay green. Okay, so as we're waiting and watching, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. We can continue to go over anything regarding this position, anything related to day trading, anything related to today's price action, or any kind of mental or emotional intelligence regarding day trading as well. How do I stop myself from hesitating when I see a good setup? How much data have you collected? How much experience do you have? Have you put enough time in collecting enough data to create that conviction? Right? Like, do you only have a couple months of data? Do you only have a couple weeks of data? Or do you have a year's worth of data or a decade worth of data? Conviction is built through experience. You have to collect more data to understand exactly how you execute, how you manage, how you risk. Collect more data is how you stop hesitating. Put the time in to collect more data. Can you show your breaker setup again? It's still on the screen. It's exactly what's shown here. Right, this is what a breaker is. Swing low, swing high, new low, new high. You can see that same thing here. Swing low, swing high, new low, new high. Right, it's the same exact thing. That's why it's identified here as breaker plus FVG. This gray box that outlines these up close candles here is the bullish breaker. Then notice how there's a bullish FVG aligned with the breaker. That's what the unicorn model is. A breaker plus an FVG. Then the position indicator tool shows you how to execute the position, right? Along with the current orders that are on the market. You can see that I entered right here where the blue line is at the beginning of the breaker. You can also see the execution labels, right? Look at these little blue arrows right here. That's where I entered the long. That's where I entered the long. It was at the beginning of the breaker. Stop loss at the low. So I enter at the beginning of the breaker. I put a stop at the low. I aim for 2R. Can you explain how to identify a change in the state of delivery? That's just the first moment in time the trend changes. So let's go out. The hourly here on NQ is very clean. So let's take a look. So it's simply just a change of trend, right? We were doing a downtrend this entire time, right? Now, the very first moment we get out of this downtrend is here. Now to identify the change in the state of delivery, use the last opposing candles. Here's the run that took out the low. Right, here's liquidity here, a swing low. So here, from this candle to this candle, we took out the low inside of a bullish FVG. Then we changed the trend. We made a new high. The bullish change in the state of delivery is going to be the opening price of that down close candle. So this is your change in the state of delivery. A change in the state of delivery, a bullish change in the state of delivery will always be the opening price of the down close candle from the run that took liquidity right before the trend changed. That's how you identify change in the state of delivery. We're now running into our target here. We pointed to the equal highs to act as our draw on liquidity. Go ahead and just go back to the beginning of my segment. You'll see that I pointed to these highs right here as the target. We're now achieving that target now. Beautiful analysis today. So we'll see if ES wants to go and complete the 2R. Ash, why enter at the beginning of the breaker and not inside of it for a better entry? It's a defined edge. It's a defined location. And that's the purpose. Having reasons, justifications to your actions, knowing exactly how you are going to execute. If you would like to leave it open, discretionarily, saying somewhere inside of the breaker, it sounds like you're going to run into a question at some point in time instead of saying, I enter at the beginning of the breaker, right? The difference is having a defined location versus discretion. You want to get rid of all discretion. You want to know exactly how or why you do things. So it's a defined location. A bullish breaker is always going to be the highest up close candle before the leg down that took liquidity. So this is a defined location. If this does not fit the definition of a breaker, then I wouldn't use it. If it does fit the definition of a breaker, then I know exactly where I will be entering. Define your edge. Define your execution. Manage your risk. It needs to be defined so it could be repeatable. That's why. Most important thing is stop loss placement. Yep, so my stop loss goes at the low, right? So just a simple understanding. If we're talking about a trend analysis, right? If we're thinking that this is an uptrend, the moment this is no longer an uptrend is if we went below this low. That's why this to me is true invalidation, right? I'm thinking that we're moving higher. If we're moving higher, we should not go below these lows, right? An uptrend is higher highs and higher lows. So to me, the low is where true invalidation is to an idea. And obviously, it's the same thing, just vice versa for shorts. Again, notice how it's a defined location. That's the important part as well. it is defined because this is the swing low. Did I move my stop loss to break even? Let's see, chat. Did I move my stop loss to break even? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Did I move my stop loss to break even? Everything's right here on screen. You guys are watching me execute currently live. You normally wait to see if your thesis is correct. Now, if you're waiting to see if your idea is correct or not, then you're late to the position. I don't chase my position. I have a defined location where I enter. I accept the risk before the risk is taken. Then, once the risk is taken, I let the probabilities play out. Ash, the unicorn you used on ES already ran 2R at 10 a.m. before it retraced. This is 2R right here. You could see risk to reward 2. Okay, so the 10 a.m. candle that you're referencing was only 1.4. So this is what 2R is right here. So no, it did not go 2R before it retraced. On top of the fact that it also gave an entry right here at 9:40 before that 10 a.m. candle. NQ completing that second target. Previous day high is the only thing that's left here. This would be the last target. If they want to keep running it, previous day high would be the last target. Previous day high would be the last target. We are going to go ahead and close this up. There is no reason to miss a beautiful 2R trade, all because of one tick. So, amazing background noise, by the way. I wasn't expecting that at all. Good job on the back end there. For anybody that used this information, you can now see that I've closed the position. You know, there's no reason to, I'm not going to use any French, but there's no reason to force a tick. Okay. Look at the difference here. 1.95 versus 2.0. You're talking about $1 difference. Okay. So positions closed. Beautiful long position today. It is the exact model that I trade, and now everybody gets to see it live now that the live account is all set up. You can see the executions on the screen. Entry occurs at the breaker. Stop loss at the low. Take profit at 2R. Congratulations, everyone. Throw a W in chat if you were able to capture the long with me. Now, once again, I'll go ahead and say it. If you're green on the day, it is your responsibility to stay green. Okay? Over trading is just as bad as fear, greed, oversizing, the whole nine. Close up shop. Okay? Go work on health. Go work on other businesses. Be done for the day. Just be done for the day. So again, if you were able to capture the long with me, congratulations. Throw a W in chat. If you have any questions regarding this information from today, feel free to throw that in chat as well. We have another 13 minutes until we wrap up the live stream. Congratulations. Ash, we have a unicorn setup on ES, which you took. Yes, that is exactly what I just traded. But in NQ, it didn't retrace to the breaker block. Yep, so, all right, let's go analyze NQ real quick. Okay, notice how after NQ completed the entry model, right? The 935 candle would be the confirmation to my model. Okay? The 935 candle would be the confirmation to my model. It is the confirmation because here's the three things that create a unicorn: a stop hunt, a breaker block, an FEG. Now let's point out all three of those. A stop hunt is when we run below a swing low. You see the swing low here? When price ran below it, that's what a stop hunt is, right? We grabbed liquidity below the swing low. So this is number one right here. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is a breaker block. A bullish breaker is a swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. So the moment in time when we make the new high, that's when this becomes a breaker block. So you can see here, this is number two, when we create that new high. And then lastly is the FEG. So here's the FEG. An FEG is a 3-candle pattern where the first candle and the third candle do not overlap. All right, so look at this candle, the 925 candle, the 930 candle. Then once the 935 candle closes, then you have all three of these confirmations. And this is what my setup is. All right, so at 935, this becomes the unicorn model. So now there's two ways of going about this. You have the front runners, right? So a front runner is somebody that will get in the position before you get all of the confirmations, right? That's an individual that's probably market ordering during the 935 candle. That's what a front runner is. They're entering the position before you get all the confirmations. So you have that type of entry. That's probably going to be a market order as soon as price displaces through the breaker block with the FEG not confirmed yet, but being created. They're going to market order in at the 935 candle. So you have the front runners, or you have the individuals that wait for all of the confirmations, which means those are the individuals that wait for the retest to then move higher. So the front runners got a position here on NQ, right? Because they just market ordered in right here during 935. The people that were waiting for all three of the confirmations did not get an entry. They did not get an entry because after you got all of the confirmations, they never retrace back to the breaker block, right? If entry occurs at the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the low, right, the 940 candle never retraced back to the breaker, nor did any of the candles after that. Okay, so know the difference. There is no right or wrong. This is where you collect your data to understand how you best operate. Are you better at market ordering in, Or are you better at limit ordering and waiting for all of your confirmations? This is where you go collect multiple years of data to understand how you best operate, because there is no right or wrong. The only thing is you collecting that data so you know, as an independent thinker, how you best operate. So if you look at my executions, you can see which one I chose, right? So after I got all the confirmations here at 9:35, there was a retest on ES at 9:40. So there was an entry there. And then the only other retest happened here at 10:30. Either one's fine. Collect the data so you know how to operate. Very good question. Still got another 8 minutes, so probably got another question or two before we go ahead and wrap up the stream. Do you think ES is going to go for the high? I don't care. I don't have a crystal ball. It doesn't matter if it does. I no longer have any risk on the table. I don't look to predict the future. I have a defined edge. I execute that edge with defined risk management. That's all I know. I allow the probabilities to play out. I don't predict the future. Right? So allowing the probabilities to play out means here's my defined edge. Once I got the defined edge, I looked how much the risk would be, right? So 14 points, you can see it here, right? 14.5, right? So we'll just round up to 15 points, let's say. On one contract of MES, 15 points is going to be about $75, right? So since my daily loss limit on the live account is $500 for a daily loss limit, I'm clearly below that daily loss limit, so I was willing to take that risk. And then on top of that, I was able to order a second contract because now the risk is only $150. So we're risking $150 to make $300. Now I closed 1 point short, so it's probably going to, let's just check. I don't want to give you guys my account information. I don't know if there's a way to, I'll send the screenshot after this so you guys could see the live account. But you guys don't get the login information. So have a defined edge. When that defined edge appears, execute that edge with defined risk management. You now actually have that +2R. So if you were the one being very extremely strict, saying that you're only going to accept +2R, you just got the +2R as well. So again, close up the positions and call it a day. We'll just go ahead and recap the reasons why I took the position as well, because the logic to your decision making is what creates those probabilities. Okay, so let's go back to NQ because this is the top-down analysis. If you go back to the beginning of my segment, you'll see this same information. This is the reason why I chose a long position. When I'm creating a bias, I go on the daily chart and I look at swing highs, swing lows, and FVGs, or imbalances, whatever you want to call them. And we've spoke about this throughout the time I've been here with you all. Bullish FVGs and swing lows give me a bullish bias. Bearish FVGs and swing highs give me a bearish bias. Notice how price tapped into the bullish FVG here. It swept the previous day low and took it and tapped into a bullish FVG. That's the reason why I was looking for a bullish bias. Then we went into the hourly, because we've spoke about draw on liquidity. And we've stated that equal highs or equal lows are our best form of draw on liquidity. Therefore, we then pointed to these equal highs here, right? Look at all these highs. Notice how the right side is the failure swing. The right side is the failure swing. So we pointed to this as the target. On top of time being the most important element. So when I come in here and I create a game plan, I look at time. I want to be participating during New York Open. Then I create a bias from what I just stated. I want to see equal highs or equal lows as my draw on liquidity. Then I find my entry function, right? And here's my entry function that occurs during New York Open. Okay, so that's a top-down analysis, a recap to the trade. Everybody gets to watch it live right here. I will continue to be documenting my information live, but once again, you are to take full and complete ownership of your own risk. I'm willing to document publicly and show you these trades, but you have to understand that you own all of your own decision making. You take responsibility of your risk. Okay? So very good job today. There should be disclaimers as well on the screen. So there's disclaimers placed in multiple different locations. One last time, throw a W in chat if you're able to capture the long with me. I'm very happy to be able to spend this time with everybody, being around other like-minded professionals. Getting to gain this experience daily is very valuable. We'll continue to keep doing it daily. Just know that I'm only looking to take 1 to 2 trades a week. So not every day is a trading day. When we do find a trade, we'll take it if it fits our risk management. Risk management is the #1 priority, and that's what I'm going to leave you all with here today. Be a risk manager first. Understand risk management is the #1 priority. Okay? There will always be another opportunity, so just have some patience and know that risk management is the #1 priority. Phenomenal day. Thank you all for being here with me. Get ready for tomorrow's live stream. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Thank you again. I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.